Here is the English translation of the content you provided. Why does China produce so many scammers? Uncovering the truth behind the problem China is a fertile ground for scammers. This is an unpleasant but undeniable fact. Whether or not you're willing to face it, this phenomenon stems from a combination of societal structure, cultural education, economic systems, and the collapse of values. Today, we will strip away all the vague embellishments and get straight to the heart of the matter. Why does China keep producing scammers? And why does every Chinese person risk falling victim to scams? 1. From education, Chinese culture fundamentally teaches people to lie from the beginning. Chinese education is essentially a production line for masters of deception. Remember your language classes as a child? Teachers instructed you to add emotion while reciting texts and memorize essays full of patriotism and positive energy. But what about the real stories behind those essays? No one told you. Writing assignments, or even worse, a concentrated training ground for lying. A student who told the truth might be criticized by the teacher, while another who fabricated a touching story could get high marks and be praised in front of the class. This teaches children from a young age that falsehood is more important than truth and that lies are more rewarding than honesty. This education system stifles critical thinking in its infancy. At first, you might question some obvious contradictions, like the glorified events in history textbooks, but teachers and parents would tell you, don't ask so many questions, just memorize the material. Over time, you start to accept these answers, and eventually, you stop thinking altogether, waiting for others to feed you the correct answers. The result is generations of people trained to follow rules without questioning them, some even resorting to lies to get by. So what happens when they grow up? People who lived in a world of lies from childhood naturally see deception as normal. To gain benefits or resources, you lie to others, and they lie to you. The entire society operates on mutual deception. How could scammers not thrive in such an environment? 2. Traditional culture as the breeding ground for deception. Some people love to boast about China's long history and profound traditional culture, but honestly, how much of it is worth passing on? And how much of it is essentially teaching people how to deceive? Take, for example, the phrase all warfare is based on deception from The Art of War. This is hailed as a classic, suggesting that smart people should outsmart others through deceit. The 36 stratagems goes even further, teaching tricks like substituting one thing for another and stealing beams to replace pillar methods of achieving goals through deceit and disguise. Then there's Confucianism, which preaches benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trustworthiness. Sounds great, but in practice, we all know that the so-called self-cultivation, family regulation, state governance, and world peace is fundamentally utilitarian. It teaches you how to appear virtuous, climb the social ladder, and manipulate others, not how to stay true to your conscience. Even more amusing is how ancient official rhetoric has evolved into today's bureaucratic jargon. In the past, people quoted phrases like establishing moral integrity for the heavens and earth, while modern officials chant slogans like working toward the great Chinese dream. Both are essentially empty rhetoric meant to gloss over reality. This cultural toxicity has poisoned generations, embedding deceit, pretense, and performance into our DNA. In such a cultural atmosphere, can honesty ever become a mainstream value? Money tricks some unsuspecting novices online. Can't do big scams. At least pull off a few small ones, right? Why are poor people so easily scammed? Because they're desperate to change their fate, eager to seize any opportunity to do so. Scammers prey on this mindset, spinning perfect get-rich stories, like cashback schemes or overnight investment windfalls, and these people easily fall for them. So why are there so many scammers? Because the economic rules in China were unfair from the start. When most of the wealth is monopolized, ordinary people are left with two choices: get scammed or become scammers themselves. 4. Collapse of faith and values. Do Chinese people have faith anymore? The answer is no. It's not that we lack religion, it's that faith has collapsed, and values have been completely crushed by money. A typical example, in today's society, a wealthy criminal is respected, while a poor, honest person is mocked. For instance, certain successful individuals made their fortunes through the sex industry, gambling, or even illegal enterprises. You know they're bad people, but you still envy them because they're rich. On the other hand, hardworking, Honest people are labeled as fools because their income could never match those criminals in a lifetime. What kind of values are these? In simple terms, only money matters, not people. No matter how you earn it, as long as you have money, you're a successful person. This societal distortion of values directly fuels the proliferation of scammers. If money is the only thing that matters, why not scam? As long as I get money, I'm successful, too. Adding to this, Jing Hao, China's education and social systems never offer real guarantees to ordinary people. There's no healthcare security, no pension security, and certainly no spiritual fulfillment. In this context, everyone's sole focus becomes making money at any cost. Over time, concepts like integrity, morality, and honesty lose all meaning. 5. Media and consumerism fueling a scam frenzy. Chinese media is constantly bombarding people with consumerist and hedonistic messages. Open TikTok or Xiaohongshu, and it's full of luxury cars, watches, and branded goods, all screaming, money is everything. Young people, stirred by these desires, feel an irresistible urge to keep up. But reality, they lack resources, connections, or even basic upward mobility. So what do they do to satisfy these desires? Work hard and earn it? No, that's too slow and exhausting. Instead, they seek shortcuts. And what's the shortest shortcut? Deception. Look at the various online scams, and you'll realize that China's scam ecosystem has evolved into a full-blown industry. Fake live streams, stock manipulations, MLM schemes, and fraudulent online courses. All of these rely not on creating value, but on emptying the wallets of the vulnerable. It's easy to scam the poor because they believe good things can come for free. Scamming the rich is harder but more rewarding. Thus, every scam in society revolves around these two core principles. Conclusion: why so many scammers? Society teaches them that deception is survival. China produces scammers because of systemic issues. Education teaches people to lie. Culture glorifies deceit. Economic monopolies deprive fairness. Values have collapsed entirely. Consumerism inflates desires. Scammers won't disappear, they'll only grow in number. As long as societal rules and values remain unchanged, everyone risks becoming a victim or being forced to join the ranks of scammers. So, the final question is, will you choose to be scammed or learn to scam? The answer lies in your heart.